many genders are there? How many genders are there?
Michigan Superintendent Sue Carnell crumbled after being grilled at a hearing about the new Michigan K-12 health curriculum, which of course includes LGBTQ propaganda now. What question made her fall apart? Out of all of them, must have been really hard, right? No, it was not. The question was, how many genders are there?
How many genders are there? How many genders are there?
Different people have different beliefs on that.
Well, you can believe all you want, but science says there's 2.
If you're living in Michigan, that woman is in charge of your kids. That is scary. So the question is, what's in this new curriculum? It is disgusting. It's not good. This is according to Fox News. They say the revised standards detail what students should know by the time they are complete a certain grade, which in this case is 8th grade. By the end of 8th grade, for example, students should be able to define, this is a direct quote from the curriculum, it says, define gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, and explain that they are distinct components of every individual's identity. So this is obviously just going to be a breeding ground for brainwashing and propaganda. I mean, just those words right there are propaganda. It is literally teaching kids fantasy novels as if they are real. That's how bad this is. It's actually worse, because obviously teaching a child that dragons are real is not going to hurt them nearly as much as telling them that they can chop off their own genitals. I would rather my kid think dragons are real than that, obviously. And telling them that in 8th grade, again, this is 8th grade, your sexual orientation and gender identity is part of your main identity. Fortunately, parents and religious leaders were pushing back really hard against this. Students can opt out because of that pushback. But make no mistake, Democrats do not want you to be able to opt out. They're trying, like Mikey Sherrill, for example. Mikey Sherrill, I think is her name. New Jersey governor now, just one. She openly said she does not think that people should be able to opt their kids out of these kind of conversations. So this is a mainstream position for Democrats. Fortunately, in Michigan, it's a purple state. They pushed back and they were at least able to opt out. That is somewhat of a win, even if the curriculum is total crap. And Washington is having the same problems right now. Here is Chris Reichdahl, another superintendent, so in leadership, saying openly that trans people are biologically not male or female.
What is one of the recurring arguments about transgender girls in girls' sports is that it is a Title IX violation, that it's unfair to the biological females on those teams. What is your position in view of this?
Well, our position is that the federal law doesn't describe Title IX beyond the words that are there, sex. They don't say biological sex or sex at birth. And so the states for decades have had a chance to interpret that the way that it fits each state. Oklahoma is going to think about it differently than Washington. So we've said that your gender identity, how you identify, is the way to proceed because there are, legitimately transgender youth by identity. There are transgender folks by biology. This is the part that's frustrated people, and they come at me and attack me pretty good. We have intersex births. There's a percentage of our population where you were not born one way or the other. There is transgender identity based on hormonal balances. Like, this is a biological issue for nearly all of these kids. So that alone should make us pause and sort of think twice about this. You hear arguments of safety, and what I say to them is this is so rare that I wonder why folks aren't questioning the 250-pound senior linebacker who gets to dismantle the 110-pound freshman, wide receiver or running back. Like, we don't even think about safety when it's male on male, female on female, or trans. That's the moment we think about it. If we're talking safety, let's really talk about safety, because other than that, the arguments of taking away something from females hasn't borne out. But I understand politically why that's hard for people. If you're not aware of the biology, if you're not aware of that, you don't have family, you don't live with that reality. But look at what we've done in our history. I mean, we told left-handed kids they were wrong and coached them out of it for 100 years. We banned interracial marriages on questions of science.
There are no transgender people by biology. We know this. And he correctly changed it later and said intersex. This is what people on the left do a lot. Intersex is not transgender. They're totally different. Intersex essentially means that you have a genetic mutation, which, by the way, by definition, a mutation means out of the ordinary. It is not normal. It's something has gone wrong. Transgender is changing your gender. It's not what you were born as. It's you change, by definition, this is what the leftists are saying. The left says, you were born a certain way. That's the wrong way. You should be able to change it. That's not intersex at all. These are not the same. He also talks about sports. This guy clearly doesn't know anything about football. The rules for football drastically changed in the last, just this century, to become more safe because of the concussions and, there's a big problem with brain damage, things like that. Protecting the QB, that's a big thing. But here's the deal. Protecting the QB is basically nothing compared to making sure a man can't compete in girls wrestling, for example. That's what he's comparing those things to. He's saying, we don't care about football. Why do we care about this? First off, we do care about football. Second off, trying to protect a QB, nothing like a man tackling a woman. It's just not even in the same ballpark. And he knows this, but he's an activist who's been placed by the Democrat Party into leadership to do their bidding, not to protect children, not to do teaching, none of that. He is an activist. Chris continues. He doubles down on the same craziness, affirms that students get to decide where they play sports, on what gender, even if it's a boy wanting to be in the girls' locker room.
The civil rights framework in this state, it includes trans youth. This is a biological question. It is quite simply inaccurate to say biologically that there are only boys and there are only girls. There's a continuum. There is a science to this. There are children who are born intersex. There are children whose chromosomes and their hormones aren't consistent with their sex at birth. That's not a debate we're going to have today. I just want to remind you of our civil rights obligation. Our state laws make clear that students get to identify and participate in activities based on the gender in which they identify.
Washingtonians, fire Chris today, please. I don't know if I think Washingtonian is the right phrase. I used to live in Washington. It's a lovely place, lovely people. Don't let them do this to your kids. This is so unacceptable. Fire this guy immediately. Get the crazies out of our schools. Before we get back to the news, guys, I wanted to thank the sponsor of this show, Pure Tested Peptides. Pure Tested Peptides offers lab-tested 99% pure peptides for sale that you can trust. Go check them out at the link in the description below. Also, guys, marketing through podcasts is the future of reaching amazing audiences. If you or someone you know owns a business that wants to break into the podcasting marketing space, you can DM me at my Instagram, contact my agent at tony@prettygoodagents.com, or you can add to the description below. Thank you so much for watching today's episode, everybody. Please like the video so other great patriots like yourselves will see it. And you can tune in every single weekday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show, or you can watch another video right here.